Happy Chinese New Year! 恭喜发财! This year, 2025, marks the year of the snake, the sixth animal sign in the Chinese zodiac. For Chinese people around the world, it's the most important holiday these days, during which we take stock of the past year and usher in the new one in style. So you can see we have a wonderfully mixed and stylish table. But how do people in Taiwan celebrate the Spring Festival? What customs are shared by people across the straits? What are some of the unique differences? How has popular culture from both sides influenced each other over the past decades? Welcome to part one of a special edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin, coming to you from the heart of Beijing to usher in the Year of the Snake together. I'm pleased to be joined by two students from Taiwan, a mainland scholar on popular culture and an American scholar who celebrated his first Chinese New Year on the island. So please welcome Wei-chi, a student of Human Resource Management at Renmin University of China, and Chiang, Tsung-chi, a student of law at China University of Political Science and Law. Teng, Jimeng, professor of film studies at the Beijing Center program of the University of International Business and Economics, and joining us online from Bangkok, David Moser, associate professor of linguistics at Beijing Capital Normal University. The warmest welcome to all of you. What a pleasure.
Happy Chinese New Year.
Happy Chinese New Year to celebrate this occasion together and with our friends in front of the TV or the phones. But you know, this year is the year of the snake, and there is something I think we should do after you finish eating the rice cake. By the way, you look so lovely. What is that costume, if you could share with it? Okay.
It's a Chinese traditional clothes. And this, the upper one is dark red clothes with the round roller. And this is the classical design. This is the pipa sleeve.
Pipa sleeve. Pipa is a traditional Chinese instrument.
Yeah, it's very
So you can put a lot of money in there.
I something.
Yes, you can.
压岁钱 in the sleeve.
A lot of 压岁钱, yeah, red envelopes.
Red pockets.
Yeah. And you also have a very traditional design on your jacket. What is that, and what's the symbolism?
And it is bamboo, and also it is the style called New Chinese 新中式.
Very sweet. Well, I have nothing special. You have a red tie.
We are quite Western, but you guys look beautiful and stunning.
Yeah, and we are so boring compared to them.
We are, but we're trying to improve. Next time I'll dress like that.
We're trying to improve. Okay, in order to keep us young, you know what? CGTN has devised something. I believe starting from last year, we have designed a kind of dance, which is very special for this time of the year, because last year was the year of the dragon, so we designed a dragon dance, and it went viral across the world. So this year, they designed the dance of the snake.
Much better.
Much better.
Right?
And it's a 15-second video. Shall we take a look and try maybe to see
I will
how
see you
fit
guys
we are?
dance.
You see
I'll
us?
just follow
No,
you.
will. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Okay, shall we try?
Okay.
Shall we try? Are you ready to try?
Yeah.
Okay. That was great. Let's
It's a lot of fun, right?
congratulate ourselves. And you really start to get warm up, right? After a bit of it's wonderful. David, did you do it too, David?
I did. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I will see to that. I'll see to that. But actually, you know, it's very much fun. It's very much uplifting. But there are little cultural secrets hidden in there.
Absolutely.
Professor Teng, what is your reading?
Well, I kind of detect lots of signs and symbolism. For example, the head of the snake is
Yeah.
like moving around, symbolizing the very acuteness and also intuition and the way to adapt to its background or surroundings. At the same time, there's also a Chinese traditional bow with the left hand on your right hand. It's
What does
a
that
way-
mean?
It's a way we greet somebody, right, by saying we want peace and prosperity.
Wei-chi, how do you like it? What do you think was the dance all about?
The dance it like the snake is because this year is the snake years. But maybe a lot of people don't know why this year is snake year. That is because in the ancient Chinese people use 12 animals to represent the every years. And that is comes from a story. Long ago, the animals they compete in crossing the river, and then use the squeeze of them to make a chaotic order.
What does snake represent? I mean, just now from the dance, you know,
Maybe
it's
the snakes represent. Some people say the snake is very wisdom
okay.
because you know the snake they can survive and move in a complex environment. And it's just like the wise people, they can deal with different complex situations. Yes, and they can also know how to be the flexible.
Are you a snake?
Yes.
if you know so much about,
So your
Yes,
zodiac sign
because
is
I'm
snake.
snake.
Whoa.
she was born in the year of
she's a
the
snake.
snake.
Yes.
So very wise, very intellectual, very intelligent, very good storyteller.
And you have to wear something red this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because according to the Chinese customs, if it is your animal sign, the whole year you're supposed to wear
You gotta
something.
You got to wear the red belt.
的命年。
Yeah, the red belt.
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red socks.
Red. Yeah. So, Tsung-chi, what about you? How did you like that dance? You seem to be of the more tranquil, more sanguine type. What is your understanding of the new year, especially the year of the snake?
蛇年的话，还是因为又被叫做小龙嘛，所以说大家也会比较重视这种生物所给我们带来的一些象征吧。
What does snake represent, for instance, for the people in Taiwan?
蛰伏 I don't know how
你可
to
以
say
用中文，
in 对 I don't know
可以用
how
中文，
how to say in English, but it means you need to
You hibernate.
hide yourself and look for some opportunity.
Yeah.
That's the snake symbolize me in Chinese culture.
David, what is your understanding of the year of the snake?
Well, I think it's a very auspicious year for our particular situation because we have so many problems that we don't know the solution to. And the snake is supposed to symbolize sort of fluidity of thinking, thinking of different objectives, different ways of doing old habits, and of progressing and solving problems in a new way. It's sort of in that dance because you have left and then you have right and then you have left and right, and it's giving you different choices. We could try this, we could try that, and also we can't forget that it's actually a wood snake this year. So
Right.
the wood
Okay.
combined with the snake, the wood is a plant. So it also has to do with flourishing, being able to flourish and grow new ideas and grow new kinds of relationships. So I think it's a great symbolism for this particular year when we're facing so much uncertainty. The snake will give us the options to get out of this predicament and do something completely new.
That's very interesting. He actually talks about
The
something
good snake here.
Yeah.
David has been very sharp for identifying this good snake here because there's also bad snake, the serpent. I mean, in Chinese folklore, there's also this very evil spirit represented by this white snake in the Chinese literature, in Chinese legend. And story goes like this white snake tries to be a human, but then eventually she was driven out of the human world and got to die because of this monk, Fa Hai. And in Hangzhou,
You know that story comes from my hometown?
that's right. I mean, in southern China. Yes,
Zhenjiang.
yes, it's a great, touching story.
Well, I just know the food here is very tasty.
It is.
I just
The tea is good. You make good tea, huh?
Good tea, and we have lots of snacks, and these are not just randomly chosen. These are snacks that people would eat basically across China, as big as the country is, right? We have, for instance, I'm eating this like small tangerines, very, very small. I don't know about in Taiwan. Do people eat these too?
Of course.
Traditionally, we have the tangerines, right? The Chinese 橘子,
Yes.
right? But more and more, these are smaller ones.
Yes.
And then we have peanuts. In Taiwan, do people eat?
Of course. The
Fashion.
candies, the peanuts, and the orange,
What do peanuts symbolize?
and long live, 长寿.
Longevity.
Longevity.
You know, this is interesting. This thing here, this is 叫番花吧. I really don't know how to say this in English. It's like a kind of paper cut,
Thank you.
but done in a way.
Oh.
对, you can play with it. You can fold it up, and then so, you know what this reminds me of? The Spring Festival is a very personal occasion for everybody, for us at least, for me at least. It's a time, I always remember the old days when me and my three sisters, of course with my parents, when we were still young, we would prepare for that big meal, you know, and we would make hot pot, we would make jiaozi, we would make all the expensive dishes that you don't get to eat the rest of the year. And then we would fight. Every year we would fight over something. I don't know, it's it's that terrible. So
Too many siblings, right?
too many siblings. But for me, it's those memories, because then you part. Children grow up, the daughters grow up, they marry off, they go to different cities, and the Spring Festival is never the same again. So for me, that's Spring Festival memory. Especially when I grow up, when I move out of my family, the idea of Spring Festival just becomes less and less important. It's not the same anymore. So I want to ask you, for instance, maybe David in Thailand first. What is the most memorable experience that you've had concerning Spring Festival?
Well, I have two. One is the first Spring Festival I ever saw was in Taiwan in 1985. Sense a little bit of a difference there because Taiwan is a smaller place. It's an island, and so there isn't, most of the time the people are seeing each other all year long, and so there's not this emphasis on reunion, which is a good thing or a bad thing. It's nice that they're able to see each other more. But for me, the really more memorable New Year's Eve was I had the great honor of being part of the Spring Festival Gala on CCTV in 1999. It was very, very nerve-wracking. We had to rehearse for months in advance. And once the show came on, it was live. And it's hard to ignore the fact that there's something like 800 million people watching you. So any mistake you make will be perceived by almost 1 billion people. So, of course, we rehearse so much that we actually do our lines in our sleep. But that was a really fun and interesting, maybe one of the most memorable nights of my life. Of course, it meant I couldn't be with the family watching the Chunwan on TV because I was on TV. but it was a really great experience. It was the year of the rabbit. So they had lots of little kids running around in rabbit costumes. It was very, very cute.
Okay. Wow, these two experiences, I mean, not many people get to have that experience, David. So what about the Spring Festival in Taiwan? I mean, we haven't heard so much. What do people do?
We don't have Chunwan in Taiwan, but we will play mahjong and play some poker and so on. And the adults chat with each other, and the child, we play some games like some online game, computer game, and so on.
What is the most unforgettable moment that you can share with us now?
my mom will take me to the neighborhood and we knock their door and say some good wish like 恭喜发财. And when I hear that, they will give me some red envelope. And when I get a red envelope, I will very happy because I get some money and I can buy something I want and just get some. Yeah.
So it's actually a little bit like the trick and treat. You know, you go and visit friends, you knock on their doors and you get candies, but in this case, of course, you get some pocket money.
Sure. It's very much kind of like people in North America, right? Observing the Thanksgiving Day, or I mean this traditional holiday, Christmas or something, right? Even though you don't ask for money on that very day. But I do echo your experiences back in China. I mean, especially back in the 70s, I remember, I mean, my father also took us on a trip back to our ancestral home. And my grandma was there, still alive, and we were actually would sit around the old grandma over there and kowtow. I did kowtow. Do you kowtow in Taiwan?
Say 恭喜发财.
恭喜发财,
Happy New
right.
Year.
Well, 恭喜发财 done away with in mainland China after the revolution, right? We don't say that. But
People
now,
still-
since
people
19,
still do, yeah.
since the 改革开放, and then we do say 恭喜发财. But
恭喜
back-
发财 by the sorry to 恭喜发财 is such because that's at the beginning of the program. I talked about 恭喜发财. Literally, it means I wish you good fortune. I wish you, you know, in a financial sense,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
David, help us explain this. Why the Chinese are so obsessed with getting rich? Literally.
I think everyone's obsessed with getting rich. That's not a Chinese thing. But I think that 恭喜发财, it's also, I think from a Western standpoint, it is interesting that there's this flat out sort of, admonition that I hope that you are, have wealth in the new year. And also the hongbao that people give, they're giving kids actual cash money, right? So, but I think it's just a symbolic thing. China, everywhere in the world, people want to be, wealthy. But in China, I think because it is such a long history and such a large country, and so many, dynasties when there was a lot of starvation and everything. So it's part of the culture that it's the most thoughtful thing you can do to wish someone, prosperity in the new year, right? That's what everyone was really looking for. It's all part of the celebration and prosperity, health, good, and joy and happiness and family love in the new year. That's what it's really all about.
Right. Hence the symbolism like fa, everything that's associated with ba, because that's, sounds very much like fa, and cai, for instance, bai cai,
Yes.
pak choy, right, also becomes a kind of a very popular vegetable to eat during Spring Festival season. What is the story you can share with us celebrating Spring Festival in Taiwan?
When I was a child and my grandma lived, the New Year's Eve morning, we will worship our ancestors and God. And during this process, there is a very interesting things. My grandma will divination blocks, and when I was young, I don't understand why my grandma do this. And then my dad told me my grandma through this way to communicate with God and the ancestors. It's very amazing. And then every year I expect for this process, and actually I want to replace my grandmom. I want to take part in this process.
We did the same back in northern China, in northeastern China. And like the trip I mentioned, when we go back to our ancestral home, the next on the next morning of the New Year's Eve, we got up, and the first thing we do...
The first morning of the
first
New
day,
Year.
Yeah, the first day, the morning of the first day, we got up, and then we were summoned to the kitchen. And we got to kneel down before the kitchen god. Sometimes it could be Guanggong, right? And we were summoned to Guanggong, and then we knelt down, and then there's a long list of ancestors, the Zupu, right? The long list of ancestors with names on those slip of papers, and the grandma would point to the name of the grandfather. Because the grandfather died, and so
Yeah.
we have to know the name of the grandfather, and then eventually we also have to kowtow. And so it's a way to remember the deceased ancestors in
Your
the
root.
family, the roots. Yeah,
Where you come from.
that's right.
Tsung-chi, I guess you want to chip in here for the first day of the new year. I understand people do the similar thing, paying tribute to their ancestors, to deities.
Yes.
You want to tell us a bit more about that?
我们会烧香祭拜祖先，然后最后我们会也会三叩九拜，以表达就是对祖先的思念以及祈祷，期待他们继续庇佑我们的在新的一年里。
Yeah. Blessing for our family.
Yes.
Yeah. Both of you have one parent from the mainland and one parent from Taiwan. So you have spread your time during Spring Festival holidays, sometimes on the mainland, sometimes in Taiwan. Do you find more similarities or more differences in terms of how people on both sides celebrate the Spring Festival?
In my mom's hometown, Hubei, we will eat a big meal in the 2 or 3 p.m. But in Taiwan, we eat in 8 or 9 p.m. It's had a lot of different. Yeah.
But are there similarities?
When we both eat fish because it means 年年有余.
So you have abundance.
Yeah,
Yes.
abundance.
Yeah, yeah. Wei-chi.
In my mom's hometown,
Where's she from?
Guangdong province, we all eat chickens.
Chicken.
Yeah, we all after dinner we can get the red pockets.
Red envelopes
Red
with
envelopes.
money
Ah,
again.
money, wealth.
Yes,
get
yes,
rich.
it's
But that's the
it's
same.
the same.
That's the same, right?
Difference. Oh, I know one. In Taiwan, we must eat the hot pot in the New Year's Eve dinner. Because every family members gathering around a stove, and it's in Taiwan called Wei Lu.
围炉.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So we must eat the hot pot, but in mainland, we eat fish, chicken, and 饺子.
Yeah,
Dumpling.
the
Dumpling.
But you also have dumpling in Taiwan. I understand it's also quite popular.
Yeah. But the most impressed me, not dumpling. Yeah. And we also have the wooden jump over the wall
佛跳墙.
in Taiwan.
That's amazing.
Why is it so popular? Why is it called 佛跳? Buddha's jumping over the wall.
This food adds a lot seafood, and they are very expensive, and it means we can have a very good life next year.
I see.
And its name is very interesting because this food is too delicious and too fragrant. Even the monks in the temples can help jumping over the wall to eat it.
I see. Too tempting.
Yeah,
Too delicious.
too delicious.
They have to abandon their contemplation, right? And come over and join us by
I
climbing
see.
over the wall.
I see. But that is quite unique to the island. Or is it also a similar case in southern China, to your knowledge? In Canton, for instance, is it also very, I believe it's also very popular.
Yeah, yes. It originates in mainland China, but then it got transferred to Taiwan.
Yeah, it's origin in Fujian maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It all belongs to the Min food, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The whole thing is
So when we eat this, we will get some food and fortune. Yeah.
blessings.
Good
Blessings
fortune.
and
Good fortune.
Yeah.
According to a social media account in Taiwan, there are 10 most popular dishes that are consumed during the Spring Festival. As you can see here, for instance, we have Buddha jumping over the wall, jiaozi. By the way, this is all about the top 10 dishes in Taiwan. The third is pork feet. The next is Chiang cai, green vegetable, but in Chinese it means longevity. And then we have mi gao, is what you, what Wei-chi has been eating, rice cake. The sixth is chicken soup, right? The next is wu yu zi, some kind of seafood.
Yes.
Seafood, right? Next is nian gao, rice cake. And then we have luo bo gao, so it's kind of cake made with radish. Last one is shrimp. I'm swallowing. My mouth is watering.
I can't just wait. I can't wait.
Can't wait. What are we going to eat for this year's Spring Festival? Anyway, David, before we wrap up, I think everybody's getting pretty hungry, so we better stop really soon. But David, when you spent your first Spring Festival in Taiwan, what was your memory? I know it's 40 years ago. What do you still remember? What impressed you the most?
Well, there were lots of things, but one thing that impressed me, because later on, when I spent all these years in China, I began to realize this issue of drinking alcohol, that the Wei-lu that she just described, it seemed like, as I recall, that for every dish, everyone had to take a drink of alcohol. The women didn't have to drink it. I mean, they would just fake it. They would maybe take a little sip and put it down. But the men, oh my God, there would be, I don't know, 15 dishes or 20 different dishes. And each time that came out, they had to drink another cup of alcohol. I don't remember if it was baijiu or not. But I just remember that was a very special day because I got more drunk than I ever have gotten in the United States. And I remember, and then since coming to China, it took me a while to learn how to drink baijiu. It was my first experience with this drinking culture, which I think is very important in the Spring Festival too.
Consume with moderation, as they always say. But we have so much happiness on this topic. I have to leave it there as we come to the end of part one. You can continue eating. Yes,
Enjoy the food.
enjoy the food as we come to the end of part one of this special edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin. Many thanks to my guest, Su Wei-chi, a Taiwanese student currently studying at Renmin University of China, Tsung-chi, a Taiwan student of law at China University of Political Science and Law here in Beijing, Teng, Jimeng, senior research fellow at the Center for China and Globalization, also professor at UIBE, and last but not least, David Moser, an old friend of China. If I may
How
say.
old?
But it's been a very interesting discussion, I hope. Thank you very much for joining us, but don't go away because our discussion continues in part two of this special Spring Festival series. We'll see you there.